Let's talk All-Star Game, All-Star voting, because it's that time of year. Brig, you want to
Sure
you want
is.
to tell us about what's going on in the All-Star voting and things like that?
Yeah, yeah, you can vote on the All-Star game if you want, because they let fans do that. Uh, Phase one ended already. Phase two runs July 30th through June
June.
30th through
Yeah.
July 2nd, so it'll end tomorrow or whatever. Couple. So we know who the attendees will be. Now it's time to determine the starting lineup, and that's where we're at. So let's just run down the American League really fast. In contention for first base, Paul Goldschmidt versus Vlad Guerrero Jr. Second base, Jackson Holliday or Gleyber Torres. Riddle me that, Batman. Third base, Alex Bregman versus J Ram. That's easy. Alex Bregman's hurt. There's your vote.
Mm-hmm.
Shortstop, Jacob Wilson versus Bobby Witt Jr. Far less uh, decisive than I think anybody expected. Um, if you'd have told me 6 months ago who would go to the All-Star game and start this kid from Oakland or Bobby Witt Jr., I'd been like, nah, Bobby Witt Jr. But now it is a
Right.
genuine battle because Jacob Wilson's hitting 338. Bobby Witt's hitting 285, for example.
And Jacob Wilson never, ever, ever strikes out, by the way.
No, no, that's absolutely
Real
true.
quick about Jacob Wilson. I saw this the other day. I thought this was super cool and super funny. Also, all at the same time. He says that he has to play video games on game days, or he does not see the ball as well
Oh,
because
interesting.
it
I
helps
like
with
that.
his eyes. And
Yeah.
I totally believe this and think it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
He says that he does not see the ball as well on days that he doesn't play video games because it has to do with his decision making, hand-eye coordination, and reaction time. Like,
Reaction time. Yeah, speed.
kids play
Makes sense.
Fortnite on game day. Don't let your parents tell you no. Anyway,
Okay, I am going to ask you who your picks are, but I want to keep running through these really quick.
okay, go
Shortstops,
ahead.
Jacob Wilson, Bobby Witt Jr. Catcher, Alejandro Kirk, Cal Raleigh. Outfield, Javi Baez, Riley Green, Stephen Kwan, and Mike Trout. You get to pick three, by the way.
You
National
get to pick
League,
two because
or
Judge is
two,
already the
yeah.
starter.
You're right.
Yeah.
Judge is already the starter. Hey, good for you. Designated hitter, Ryan O'Hearn or Ben Rice. National League, first base, Pete Alonso or Freddie Freeman. Second base, Tommy Edman or Ketel Marte. Third base, Manny Machado or Max Muncy. Shortstop, Mookie Betts or Francisco Lindor. Catcher, Carson Kelly, Will Smith. Outfield, Ronald Acuna Jr., Pete Crow Armstrong, Teoscar Hernandez, Andy Pajes, Juan Soto, or Kyle Tucker. Shohei Ohtani will be the DH for the National League. The end. He's already automatic. Okay, now, who do you want, or who do you think should get it? Who do you think's going to get it? How do you want to play this?
Think and should. How's that?
Okay,
Think followed by should.
all right.
So
Who do you think's going to
I
get it? Paul Goldschmidt or Vlad Guerrero Jr.?
I think it's gonna be Vlad, and I think he should get it. That's just me. I know you're biased towards Paul
I,
Goldschmidt, but
well, I also think he's the better player this year. Sorry. I
okay.
don't know who's going to get it, but I'll bet Vlad does, but it should be Goldie. Okay, second base.
I Gleyber Torres should get it. I think Jackson Holiday is gonna get it because the hype that's surrounding him. More people know that name. I think more casuals know the name Jackson Holiday.
I think you're right. I agree with you. Third base? Duh.
Well, J Ram's gonna get it. And he should get it. He's healthy
Yeah, 100%.
and he's
But
awesome.
would be a tighter contest if without the injury. Okay,
It would
shortstop?
be. I think if Bregman was healthy, I think J Ram should still get it and probably would.
I agree, but probably wouldn't. Yep. Go ahead. Shortstop.
Bobby Witt should and will.
See, I think Jacob Wilson should, but Bobby Witt's going to. He'll start.
See, I think Bobby Witt is a more complete player all
I
around.
think
Jacob
in the
Wilson's
All
good.
Star game,
Like,
in
I
the All Star
cannot
game, you're going to
stress
get
Jacob
two
Wilson.
innings.
The fact that Jacob Wilson just doesn't strike out blows my freaking mind. But
Yeah,
Bobby Witt Jr. is a bona fide superstar,
true.
like atmospheric superstar, and should and will get the vote. That's the thing about Bobby Witt Jr. He's the next level.
I agree. I agree. I just think Jacob Wilson is giving him a total run for his money this season.
That we never would have seen coming. You're absolutely right.
Never.
But he's just not there yet.
Okay. Catcher, Kirk or Raleigh?
Please. Cal Raleigh.
I know. Anybody who votes for...
I don't think those two are even in the same conversation this year.
32 home runs to Cal Raleigh. Alejandro Kirk has 7. Okay, I know his average is a little higher, but his OPS is 300 points lower. So back off. 250 points lower.
But still,
all right.
Alejandro Kirk is a slap-hitting catcher.
Yeah, he is. And he's really good for that. He does a great job there.
He is good at that. Because he's not going to strike out and he's going to move guys around. But anyway, go ahead.
Bingo. Okay, give me 2 outfielders to join Judge.
I think you give it to Mike Trout because of who he is. You can't not. It's almost like a lifetime achievement award for him. And I'm going to give it to Riley Green. I'm a big Riley Green fan. Riley Green fan. Try saying that 5 times fast.
I am too. I think you give it to Green, and then I think if you're being nostalgic, you give it to Trout. I think other than the nostalgia, the battle between Stephen Kwan and Javi Baez is really interesting. But I don't know. I think you give it to Trout because you have to. Give me your DH, Ryan O'Hearn or Ben Rice.
Ryan O'Hearn, probably.
I know. DH,
I know. You were telling me the other day about how the Yankees are just finding ways to get Ben Rice's bat in the lineup because they need it.
Yeah.
But I feel like Ryan O'Hearn, I don't know. Part of it to me is that Ryan O'Hearn has a lot of conversation around him because he could really help a team down the stretch after the trade deadline.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
And that's because he's been so great on a not great team.
Yep.
So that's part of the reason I got to give it to him.
Okay. You're wrong, but that's fine. Give me the National League first base.
National League first base. Pete Alonso. But I think it will be Freddie Freeman. I think it should be Pete Alonso, but I think it will be Freddie Freeman because he's not in New York.
Even with the stacked Dodger appearance, it is going to be an all Dodger show. It just is.
There was an all Royals show one year.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, give me your. I think it ought to go to Freddie.
Okay.
I think he's a better first baseman.
I wouldn't be upset, obviously. But because I think they're 1 and 1A or 1A 1B, like they're there with one another.
Yeah,
is really what it comes down to. But anyway.
All right, second base, Tommy Edman, Ketel Marte.
Ketel Marte, absolutely.
Yep, I agree. But Tommy Edman will get it. Yeah, you think so? Will be. I'll bet Tommy Edman gets it. But it should be Ketel Marte.
I think the thing with Ketel Marte over the last week or so helps him with the voting.
Yeah.
And
he brought that OPS up.
I'm not saying sympathy votes. I'm saying awareness. People who didn't know who he was know who he is now.
Yeah. People who didn't know who he was are foolish.
Right. Absolutely.
So you got to be something. Anyway, third base, Machado or Muncy? Oh, my word. How are we even
better at third base this year?
Why is this the question? Why?
I don't know. I like Manny Machado, and Muncy's having a good year, but I feel like there's got to be somebody at third base who was better than these two this year. Because we're going to talk
Machado's
having a down year for himself, right?
That's
Isn't
right.
He?
Yes, it's not his best first half. But it's still great. 292, 13 homers.
I know.
Come on. Come on.
I want to say Machado should have it, but I think it'll go to Muncy for the same reason you said that.
That's right.
That
Dodger
Edman
fans. Dodger fans.
There's a lot of
Mookie
them there
Betts,
everywhere.
Francisco Lindor, shortstop.
Mookie Betts, all around, baby.
Yep, I agree. Catcher will be Carson Kelly or Will Smith. This is so easy.
Will Smith.
Yep. Will Smith, if it weren't for Cal Raleigh, it would be hard to pick a better catcher in the entire Major League Baseball situation right now.
Mm-hmm.
The dude is amazing. Okay,
and he's been good for a while, too, by the way. It's not just like Cal broke out this year. Will Smith has been there.
Yes, exactly. Give me 3 NL outfielders: Acuna, Pete Crow Armstrong, Teoscar Hernandez, Andy Pajes, Juan Soto, Kyle Tucker.
Okay. I'm gonna go PCA, Juan Soto, Kyle Tucker. I got to put Acuna as my fourth, and the only reason he's my fourth, Brig, is because he hasn't played as many games as everybody else. But man, he made it hard to make that decision that fast.
Yep. Yeah, in that short amount of time, this is rough. See, and Pete Crow Armstrong immediately. That's a no-brainer. And then I think Andy Pajes makes a lot of sense right now. And then I'm going to give it to Acuna. I want him to take it. Yep. But I think Juan Soto will get it, that last spot for me.
You're
Soto's
leaving
gonna
Kyle
get it.
Tucker off of this?
Oh, you're right. Oh, no. Nope. I'm reimagining my list. Pete Crow Armstrong, then Kyle Tucker, then Andy Pajes. Then Andy Pajes. Okay. That's how I feel. It's my official position. But Juan Soto's going to make it in, and it's not okay given the situation we're seeing statistically.
It's wild, right?
Yeah, it's
because
BS.
his is mostly recent.
Yep. I have nothing else to say, but except we're going to talk about it in just a minute.
We are,
Just you
because this is the thing, is this is phase 2 of the voting. We've gone through one phase where they pick the top 2 vote getters of each position, like we just went through, and they pick the top vote getter in each league, and they're an automatic bid, right? Is this getting to be too much? I think it is.
Yeah, it is. It
Like,
is. And I understand the fan involvement. They want that. It's great. Makes sense. But I want more of a show. If you want me this involved, then I want the skills competition. Otherwise, just take my vote one time and be done.
Right. And I think it drives me crazy. Go vote 5 times a day. Go vote 5 times a day up until this day, and then we're gonna have phase 2. Now you can vote 1 time a day. Like, and I can't remember if I said this on this show or not before, but I don't like to vote for All-Stars. I don't do it because there are incentives attached to guys' contracts if they make the All-Star team, and I don't want to be adding to or taking away with that in any way based on my bias or whatever, right? Like, and I know it's like, oh, get off your high horse and your gilded soapbox, whatever. That's just my personal feeling. And I know that there are guys, like, all these guys are going to be there because they all deserve to be there, right? Because even if you don't win the starting position, you're going to get another slot from the coach, or the manager is going to select you to be there, and the league will select.
Yes.
But still, like, I don't want to have anything to do with how much a guy makes. Either make it so that you cannot have all-star incentives in your contracts. I get there are MVP, there are Silver Slugger, Gold Glove, there are incentives there. That's fine, kind of, because that's all voted on by by the writers, isn't it? So
they're just performance driven. They don't have anything to do with popularity. That's the difference.
Yeah, and this is a popularity contest.
It is. It's like,
that's the you're having not a great year, but if the fans love you, you're going to get the votes.
Yep.
So you can go play like garbage, but have a great personality. I mean, I always go back to Ken Griffey Jr. was almost voted in as a starter the year he retired. He was not playing baseball when the votes were being tallied.
Exactly.
Because everybody knew who he was. Everybody wanted his name on the ballot, right?
That's right.
And
you can write guys in.
Yeah.
You know how I know? Because I disagree with Brad. I vote, and I vote with discernment. I'm not a popularity vote guy. I just and my discernment's better than yours. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I think there is a huge difference between people who vote with analytics in mind versus people who are like, I'm a Dodgers fan, or I'm a Braves fan, or I'm a whatever.
Right. Well, I said not 5 minutes ago, I don't think that there was a year that it was all Royals almost. There were 7 Royals in the starting lineup, I think, because the Royals
Yep.
ran this big campaign to stuff the ballots with Royals. And they did. It worked,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
so who on that team got bonuses who shouldn't have gotten them or took them from somebody else in the league who was more deserving because of a popularity contest and a campaign to get their players in the All-Star game?
Yeah.
That's why I can't handle it.
I don't agree
But
with it.
you're right,
but
though. You bring up a great point, though. If you're going to have the fans this involved, do more with it. Don't just do the home run derby. Let's get a skills competition in there.
Yeah, and the only reason I say that is not because they owe us anything, and not because they're sitting around waiting for Brig to vote. Nobody cares, and nobody cares that I'm not voting unless I get a skills competition. Nobody cares. I just want one. Okay, I'm just being petty because I want one.
So have you seen there? I've seen some reels on like Instagram and stuff that they used to do one. The one that I specifically remember was seeing Benito Santiago thrown down to second. That there was some
Yeah.
kind of skills competition with catchers. Like, I want to see it. Absolutely.
Yeah,